convert it into a first round win, Kenobi.
Yeah, and it was interesting, actually, Big Time Regal Gaming didn't use this kind of double main tank composition we talked about. They used the Sombra goats instead, and it seemed to be working very well. Skyshow kind of showing his prowess on the hero, getting some very nice EMPs, and Sombra we know as a character Rapture that if you're not equipped to deal with it, it's going to just tear you apart. And here, T1w bringing out an interesting composition of their own. They're playing a more of a bunker composition here with the Mei, and that's really interesting.
Yeah, this is definitely not unfamiliar for people who have been watching T1w. They're a team that, even though they will run goats, they're also very likely to run these compositions that hide behind an Orisa shield. They use the Ana the grenade to do some really quick burst healing or burst, damage boosting there essentially. Able to put some more damage on with a big bio or deny that healing. Molenron with a big kill onto Skyshow there, and already it's so hard to break through the wall in front of the Bastion there. They're just doing a lot of just relentless damage right here. High B shoulder checks the Zenyatta, and that's almost another melt there as Cloud goes super, super low, and then finally the kill is picked up there by Illusion, and Molenron's going to be able to do even more damage. No one from BTRD is able to find any kill on there, and that's going to be T1w picking up the first capture.
That was actually a really nice rotation and really nice patience from T1w. They waited out until the dive came in from Big Time Regal Gaming. They were able to pull back just a little bit, keep their Bastion alive, and then they were able to transition a really nice wall from an assassin, cut off the escape from Big Time Regal Gaming, and then they were able to just pump out the damage as best as they could. And now it's a high ground Bastion Rapture. It's going to be very difficult for Big Time Regal Gaming to even try and get onto him. Molenaar is going to free farm right here.
Yeah, exactly. They can't just necessarily walk up onto the point. They have to go to this close flank route here to give themselves cover before they approach this Bastion. But now they put themselves in a really small situation when they get cut off by the Mei wall. And that's exactly what happens, but Assassin gets cut down by Arong there, who then pops the Transcendence, allowing the team to push up onto the Bastion. But Hybe, with nice self-destruct from behind, makes it impossible for BTRG to finish and commit to that Bastion kill attempt. And T1w comes out ahead yet again.
And you know what I'm really happy about for T1w in that last fight, and specifically Molenron, is when he got the nano, he didn't go into tank configuration. If you go into tank configuration in those moments, you lose a lot of pressure that you can get with just your turret. Your turret does so much incredible damage in DPS, and you have so much pressure with those bullets flying in, where if you switch to tank configuration, you're not going to have that much DPS coming out.
Now we have Skyshow from BTRG moving over to the Genji. Of course, going to try and have that extra mobility to get close enough to the Bastion, have the Reflect to use as well. They want to have some way to maneuver around the Orisa Hall, around the Mei wall, around the Bastion, just stream of fire here. Skyshow trying to peek, but they can't do much with the Orisa shield in the way. Now they're going to go right in. This is Cloud going in for more. Yang will get rid of that Orisa Bongo. Meanwhile, Molenron pops the tank mode, and Cloud's the first victim. Yang follows suit, and that's a big win there. The Blizzard slowing everyone down, Assassin helping out, and Molenron picks up everyone as they're too sluggish to get away. Silver 3 and Assassin picking up the final 2 kills, and T1w should take a flawless victory here. This self-destruct, a last-ditch effort to try and clear T1w off the point. BTRG gets 2/3 of point C, but it's not going to be enough, and Molenron is just powering through, just like power washing the side of a house right now. BTRG is getting mollywopped right now, and Illusion and Molenron. There's another one, a stop as Skyshow is trying to get in there with a blade and gets absolutely stuffed. Can't dunk on the Bastion, and that's a win for T1w.
Yeah, that's a you hate to see it, Rapture. You just hate to see it. He goes for the Dragon Blade and gets demolished by the Bastion there. And that was a really nice and cute composition coming out from T1w. We know this team last season as being a team that really just used that Doomfist goats to their advantage because no one could really stop it. But they have been a team in the previous seasons where they can flex on over to different compositions. You know, you have Assassin in the lineup right now instead of Micha. You also have Molenron, who is playing DPS and isn't playing Brig for the entirety of the season. So these players have their moments on DPS, and we're definitely seeing it, especially in that last map of Nepal.
Absolutely. And T1w, though, as you say that, changing over to goats for our village phase, the third and final, the decisive phase of Nepal right here. Let's see who will come out ahead in this map and take the game series here. Of course, there's a lot on the line for BTRG. They can't really afford to lose maps. They need every map win they can get here. And even T1w, they don't want to be too far behind Bilibili Gaming in the standings. They want to try and get some maps and catch up. And T1w doing just that, a 6v3 advantage as the supports go. Now all 3 supports are down for BTRG. They've lost their main tank as well, so they have nowhere to hide. They got to fall back if they're alive at all. and T1w takes the first fight win.
And I really love it when teams do this against Sombra Goats compositions. They notice that there's a Sombra on the enemy team, they scout out the Sombra, and then they realize, okay, the Sombra has to relocate away, now it's a 5v6, now it's a 6v5, we can just pressure onto the enemy team. There's no D.Va to eat any of the fire strikes or the particle grenades that are going to be coming from the Zarya, so great play. They scout out Skyshow again, who's only at 60%. At this point, you expect him to be at like 80 or 90, and then they go aggressive again. I love this play from T1w.
Well, you would expect that if they were Haker potentially, but Skyshow is no Haker, and Skyshow is having trouble. Haker. That's very true. We could all wish that, but we can't be. Skyshow, unfortunately, unable to really set that pace that we come to expect from the Sombras out here, and having some trouble getting a good sight line on the high ground. I think that's really why T1w is holding this high ground. It's hard for the Sombra to get a good sight line, build some ult charge, and can't charge, drop down on them and with an EMP, which now Skyshow has. So T1w trying to hold the high guard as long as possible. Skyshow demecking high B, Silver 3 with the Earth Shatter.
Big shatter.
Down ones, and that's a big one there, as ones had a Graviton Surge ready to go. The support line for T1w now picking up the kills. Silver 3 swinging away, and then the Fire Strike to finish him off. Illusion on win-win. And that'll be enough for T1w to take another fight win. BTRG, after winning the first round on Nepal, has yet to have any percentage at all in these last 2 rounds.
And I can't stress how clutch that shatter was from Silver 3 there. Wands was about to have a free Graviton since High B was demeched, but he hits a really, really nice clutch shatter Silver 3 does, and he's able to get down the DPS. They are able to snowball, and now at 81%, this is last fight territory. A really nice Graviton from Assassin.
Yep, and the self-destruct will come out from High B to pick up the easy combo. 2 kills off that, while the Graviton helps Monron get 2 kills off the Bree. 93% and counting for T1w. BTRG is nowhere to be found except the Sombra from Skyshow, who's still sitting on EMP, gets stunned by the Bree, falls back 44 HP, and then gets picked off. And yeah, that's just the curtain right there is closed on BTRG. T1w will take the first round on Nepal. First map, that is, 2-1.
And T1w did such a good job there of scouting out the Sombra. Skyshow didn't even get to EMP that entire round, Rapture.
No, yeah, Skyshow was looking for something big, built it once, doesn't get to do it at all. We're gonna bring Panda in here real quick. Panda, that was a pretty quick control map there, in terms of the last 2 rounds. And BTRG, they got that first round in Nepal, and then it fell apart from there.
Yeah, what you got to see was an adaptation. Kenobi actually highlighted it wonderfully towards the beginning of Village, but it was a tale of two different stories, right? Sombra 3-2-1 comes out from BTRG, finds a lot of value in backline pressure. T1w then recognizes that coming off of Sanctum, a emphatic Sanctum at that. Coming into Village, just fantastic scouting coming out from High B. You see all the veteran play coming through at that point. Again, noticing that there was no damage mitigation from Defense Matrix on BTRG's side, so they were just able to quite literally run over top of them. You can take a look at some of these highlights here too. I gotta go back to Sanctum at the same time. This is where BTRG started to take a turn for their worse, in a way that they started quite literally funneling themselves into what T1w really wanted. You can't approach from the backside of this composition. You're going to get sectioned off by a wall. You can't exactly go in through the front side because you're going to get slowed down, and then you're going to get quite literally cut open like Swiss cheese from Bastion. And, T1w, as adorable of a composition as it was, it really worked out because BTRG on the Winston 3-2-1 this time around, it just doesn't work out for them. They have no isolated targets to dive on. Going to have to try something different.
Well, we'll see what BTRG can bring to the table in our next maps. It's not over for them just yet, but T1w does have the lead 1-0 after that 2-1 win on Nepal. Let's see what BTRG can do on their next attempt. We have a few more maps on the way. Don't go anywhere. More Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019, Week 4, Day 2. We'll be right back after this short break.
They're swapping their Zarya play. Mitra brings a little bit more projectile play to the hero pool. Not really much of a hit scan player as Assassin is, but Assassin did look good on the Zarya coming from that last map. So I'm interested to see what Mitra's going to bring to the table here. It looks like he's sticking on the Zarya.
Yeah, I'm thinking that he's going to go with the Zarya and then have the opportunity to change to other characters, potentially going to a projectile DPS if they need him on certain stages of the map. Maybe the second phase of the map could be a potential opportunity. Or maybe you just go Doomfist. We might just see the Blizzard World Doomfist from Micho, of course. It's certainly a highlight character for him.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really cool if we got to see the Doomfist at least once here, but it looks like T1w is taking this long rotation, and they're all so very low, and you saw it when we were speccing their Meech's POV. He was so super low charge, and you look on the other side for Wands. Wands has a lot of energy, so T1w really just kind of go into that fight and lose a lot of value. Micha only 34% to his Graviton. Wands has him by at least 20% so far.
Yeah, that was just pretty standard. Like, it just took T1w so long to get behind BTRG that they just took too much damage throughout that time. By the time the fight got on, BTRG was already ahead in terms of health, and T1w easily cleaned up as a result. They're going to take another stab at it as they move left from the statue and continue to this left rotation. That's what they did last time. BTRG's waiting for it. And remember, look at the top of your screen. Sky Show about to get EMP. Yang is about to get this Earth Shatter, so BTRG is ready to respond to whatever T1w throws at them, and T1w is still a little ways away from a lot of their major ultimates here, especially Micha. Only 51% to a Graviton Surge. They need that crowd control to try and rein BTRG in and off the high ground, but BTRG is going to jump right down and follow through with the EMP, which hits 4 members of T1w. Micha and Silver 3 are cleaned up. Yang diving right in with the charge, trying to keep the D.Va back. The D.Va will run away, but Waya can't get away themselves. Monron goes down as well. T1w cleaned up yet again, and BTRG will hold them off, but T1w did get 1/3 of the point.
One tick is good enough for T1w in that last fight, but much more than they probably expected. And really nice ult patience, though, coming out from Big Tyrio Gaming. The EMP comes out, and they understand that we can just win this fight off of the EMP. They're not going to have any ultimates. We've hacked basically everyone, so they're able to keep their Graviton, keep their Earth Shatter, and keep their Transcendence for this next fight. The Transcendence from Waya here is available to counteract the grab that Wands is going to be coming.
BTRG has so many options to use crowd control on T1w here, or Illusion with a right click on the win-win. That's big. And Silver 3 is hacked while Monron is stunned. BTRG, that's their cue to go in. They pop both the Rally and the Transcendence at the same time, though. It actually lowers that sustain throughout the fight. So if the one winner, they start getting some kills here, they actually turn this around. There's the Graviton. BTRG, though, Eren gets the kill. Waya finds one on Yang, then Micha and Monron. Illusion get on the board as well. That's exactly what happened. BTRG burned both support ultimates at the same time. So T1w just waited for both of them to be over. They popped their kills, and they popped their ults, and they got the kills.
And Hybe actually really comes in clutch in that last play. You saw Hybe there go onto the high ground and booster the Lucio off onto the low ground. Then some really nice coordination. Eren stuns him, hits him with the combo and the flail. They're able to burst down Win Q, so he's out of the fight early. They lose that Lucio and they lose that sound barrier. If they had that sound barrier, they probably would have been able to sustain through a lot of the damage coming out, but they didn't have it yet. And Win Q is going to have it for this next fight. But T1w, really nice coordinated play. And Hybe coming in really clutch. He's been very impressive so far in the series.
Oh, Wyatt trying to burst down the Somber. Sky Show uses the EMP. They got 4 members of T1w, but they were so low they had to immediately go back, so there weren't immediate follow-ups. Win, though, does find the kill on the Silver 3, so that will at least halt the momentum of T1w for the time being. With Micha still trying to keep this charge up for the next fight. Trying to fall back, can't get away. Waya, though, takes their counterpart down, gets the kill onto the Zarya ones. And that isn't enough to win this fight necessarily, but it will force BTRG to fall back just a little bit, give T1w control of the payload yet again, and allow them to push up towards the second checkpoint.
And actually, once going down there was very important. They lost a lot of pressure and a lot of damage, BTRG did, so that T1w is able to retake the cart, and Micha is coming back into this next fight with the Graviton of his own. Big Time Rio Gaming do have the support ultimates available to counteract it, and Yang is going to have this Shatter, so this Shatter, if it's big, can maybe stop a lot of the damage coming in from the grab.
T1w has to see it coming, though. The Reinhardt was the first one down on the low ground. There's the Earth Shatter. It only gets Waya and Illusion, but yeah, Silver 3 lands the counter Shatter, goes in, I'm sorry, the, not counter Shatter, but does try to counter up and try and get to a Shatter quickly. Very close to getting there is Waya with the trends, and it's helping sustain the team. Illusion and Micha get their kills, and Yang was only really able to get 1 or 2 players off that Earth Shatter. Not a very, very effective ultimate there. So BTRG again having to fall back as their tank line proving to not be as effective as they need it to be in the fight. Micha finds A-Wrong, Wands goes down as well. T1w staggering Yang and looking to stagger the Breeze. So now BTRG not only losing the fight, but they're losing so much more of this potential payload defense because they've had their players staggered.
Yeah, I love how aggressive T1w has been playing throughout this series so far. And there you see they go far deep into the spawn of BTRG to get the stagger kills that they need. And BTRG coming into this next fight, they're going to have a couple of ultimates to their name. They're going to have the Graviton as well as the EMP. And there is no support ultimates on the S side. There's just Illusion, Sound Barrier. But if they're able to time the EMP correctly, they'll be able to strip all of that shielding away.
Monron does have the rally, throws that down. High B is hacked, trying to stay in the self-destruct. They can pop that, and they're going to use it anyway on the high ground. Unfortunately, didn't get it down. Was trying to push it off with Baby D, but couldn't do it. Now there's the EMP. It gets half of T1w. Monron goes down. High B, Silver 3, Micha are hacked by the EMP. Yang now looking for some. Graviton comes down from Micha. Transcendence as well from Waya, and that's more than enough as High B picks up 2. Micha now and the rest of this crew have the Reinhardt locked in this little room and making it possible for Yang to poke out without getting stagger. There it is. Now the payload going to this last corner with T1w in full control.
And BTRG used everything in that last fight, but they weren't able to win it. The ultimates just came in there for T1w, and now T1w has such an advantage in their ultimates coming into this next fight. They're going to have a Shatter and a Self-Destruct available to them.
Wow, I thought BTRG wouldn't get there in time. They almost just gave it away to T1w. 0.32 meters remaining. Micha finds Cloud. Micha looking for more. High charge at 80. Self-destruct from behind. It forces BTRG off the point, and that's enough for them to land, or for T1w to land the complete map capture, and they will push it through for 3 points.
Yeah, and they are going to get 3 points, and we're going to get Panda back on in this as we switch these map types.
Yeah, you know what's mostly interesting too is you get to see the different dynamic of how two teams can adapt to a situation, right? BTRG playing more composed on the first point defense, but then getting very hesitant in their engagements and mid-fight disengages throughout the entirety. That's why they kept on losing wands. You notice always playing for that charge, always being down, having to pop that self-barrier a little bit too early, always getting a little bit too big for their bridges and taking too much damage. The armor pack was never available. It was either wands or Yang that went down. So Sky Show, as many hacks as you could find in the back line, as good as they may be, is never going to be enough because, like you said in the middle of that cast, Kenobi, T1w, they're just too composed, man. They're going to recognize when they have any sort of advantage, man. They're just going to come and just bulldoze you over. It doesn't matter. Staggers, disengages. You have to use your resources to even get that disengage. Most Lucios use your amp it out ability to get to that disengaged spot for a full reset. And that's when T1w just completely collapse on top of you. Always having composed resources with their ultimate economy, cycling fat shatters on top of graviton surges. Even if Micha is in full charge, still pops off, still finds a lot of damage. That Zarya that they need for their team. Assassin in for, or Micha in for Assassin. It's basically plug and play. I mean, you're playing one Zarya in here. They're both good for this team.
Absolutely. And now, thank you, Panda. We're going to be moving on to our next attempt here of Blizzard World. It's now to see how far BTRG can get on their offensive attempt. T1w not only got 3 points, they still have 1 minute and 26 seconds on the clock, so BTRG does have to keep that in mind. And they're trying to go with something that is a little more aggro. They're going for the triple DPS, Sky Show, Cloud, and Wands on Sombra, Pharah, Widowmaker, respectively. And then Eren moving over to the Ana. We also have Yang on the Hammond. So they're really looking for just that background disruption with the pile driver and then trying to unleash as much DPS as possible onto the remainder of T1w.
Yeah, they're going to try and just force resources here out of T1w. You know, force out armor packs, force out shields, force out defense matrix so that Cloud can do a lot of damage in the air here. There is going to be this pick of wands here on this Widowmaker. Silver 3 gets very low and he goes down. That's a lot of shielding. You've just lost Rapture. Yeah,
that was great juggling there by Cloud, keeping the Reinhardt separated from the rest of the team and then picking up the shots, forcing the Reinhardt to keep their attention focused in the air. They really can't do much else, but T1w, you know, seeing that, they're going to move over and put Silver 3 onto the Winston. So they're like, you know, the Reinhardt essentially is going to get juggled by the Reinhardt, or the Reinhardt's going to be juggled by the Pharah. Let's move over to the Winston.
Yeah, the Winston's a really nice pick. You have a lot more mobility. You can get to those high grounds. You can dive Wands here in the backline, and Wands is getting very low. Should go down soon, and it looks like T1w is actually going to bring this back from the brink, Rapture.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the High-B is kind of just running around in just sweeper mode right now, looking for anybody on their own, putting pressure, getting them into 1v1 or 2v1 situations here, and then joining the team whenever they need be. So High-B with really good game sense right now.
Ooh, nice shot.
Wands, though, yeah, finds Illusion with the headshot, and that has to be the cue for BTRG to go in. Not only do they get that kill, they have the Widowmaker ult on cue. They've used it. They have the nano boost onto the far. Cloud going in a very odd line of sight there. Only gets 1 kill onto Micha, but the rest of that barrage is eaten up by the defense matrix. Self-destruct now overhead, and it finds Win-Win. That's huge.
Ooh, that's big.
T1w denying the reses from BTRG. All they have to do is get the kills now, and they know that they've won the fight and don't have to worry about the reinforcements. It would be too quick to come in. Waya putting some shots in, falling into the background, and looking to not get picked off here. HiB is just picking off players left and right. Again, just that roamer just roving around looking for kills, and then no one's able to stop him.
HiB is playing absolutely out of his mind right now on this D.Va. You know, last season we had MG as the best off-tank in this region, but now HiB is really coming back into prominence. He's playing so well throughout this entire series so far, getting the picks he needs, getting the self-destruct kills that he needs. The defense matrixes have been on point. He's just been a monster throughout.
Absolutely, and now we have, again on this, look at this. SkyShow, this is, I believe, SkyShow's first EMP still of the map. Hasn't used one yet, and it's the minute and 10 seconds on the clock. You gotta be using EMPs quicker than this. You gotta be getting multiple EMPs. You can't be sitting on them for so long. Even now, not getting into position to try and land one. Look at all the players that are clumped up here by T1w. You can easily use one. Silver 3 deciding to take up a new career in marine biology. Diving into the pool, diving into that water out there, into the lake. Juan's looking for a Mullen run, finds one, gets picked off there. Juan's another one. Cloud is the one who went down. Juan's for 2. SkyShow gets 2 right there. And SkyShow electing not to use the EMP. So they still won it, but I mean, I feel like it could have been done a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, I also would have, you know, marine biology is pretty cool. If I had to go back and switch my college degree, I would probably pick.
See, you know, I actually talked to someone about this recently. You know, not as great pay, and it's really high competition. You know, so it's
yeah, but you get to, you know, it's cool.
It is cool. I love like whale sharks and stuff like that. I love marine biology. I could talk for days on marine biology. We're gonna talk about this because T1w right now moving in with Illusion and Micha on their ultimates ready to go. They can throw a graviton down and then push up. And BTRG gets caught right in it, but no kills immediately. Eren with the nano boost throws one down, I believe, on the Reinhardt, but the Reinhardt Yang is charging around and doesn't have anyone pinned. So the one winner's just ignoring him. Get a bunch of kills, 4 to be exact, and then Silver 3 picks up the fire strike onto Yang. So T1w with the wipe, and not only that, forcing out the nano boost from Eren.
Yeah, a lot of ultimates used there by Big Time Regal Gaming, whereas T1w, they only use the graviton from Micha, so they're able to keep their, you know, their support ultimates. They're able to keep HiB's self-destruct, which have been hitting so far throughout this entire series. They're keeping the Earth Shatter as well, and Big Time Regal Gaming had to make a lot of switches over to this more GOATS composition, and they're going to be behind in a lot of the ult economy, and with a minute and 54 seconds left, Rapture, they're going to get 1, maybe 2 ult rotations if they play this correctly.
Ooh, Earth Shatter from Silver 3 only catches Eren, but that's going to be kills coming their way. T1w had the counter Earth Shatter there, but T1w gets right back up. They were so clumped together there, it was hard for BTRG to isolate a single target off that Earth Shatter follow-up. So T1w makes their way out of that fight. I mean, sure, they really haven't given up too much, but they did get that Earth Shatter out of Silver 3.
And again, it's great ultimate usage from T1w. They use just the one ult, the Earth Shatter from Silver 3 to win the fight. They're able to keep their own and farm it towards quicker. Micha looks like he's getting close towards that graviton as well. And Eren he needs to really win this race with him to get to that Transcendence. If Micha's able to get this grab before the Transcendence, this is going to be very bad for the side of Big Time Real Gaming.
No, and SkyShow now on this Zarya looking a lot stronger here. Higher charge, getting closer and closer to this graviton, kind of giving Micha a run for their money. Micha now has a graviton of their own, and SkyShow still trying to maintain this graviton. Graviton comes down from Micha. Micha finds the kill on the SkyShow, shuts him down. HiB off of that graviton combination, finds Cloud. Now gets a 6v3 situation for T1w, 6v2. BTRG has to fall back to spawn if they can stay alive at all, and they will, at least. But with 35 seconds remaining on the clock, Kenobi, there is not much time for BTRG to make a big move.
Yeah, Eren barely doesn't win the race by 4%. If he had gotten maybe a couple of more hits or a couple more volleys, he might have been able to have the Transcendence available. But this is last fight right here, Rapture. 23 seconds left. Big Time Real Gaming have some ultimates available to them. They have the support ultimates as well as the graviton, but they need to really make something happen here.
Yeah, and there's and Silver 3 finds Cloud. They need that extra healing to go through this, and now they have to start burning resources desperately. Eren with the Transcendence, and then they use the Sound Barrier. Win-Win doesn't stagger the Sound Barrier perfectly off that Transcendence. Just a bit too early now, but it might be enough Sky Show with Silver 3, Mullen on Yang Yang, 5v5 situation. Micha now has a Graviton, can try and suck up the rest of BTRG and does so. Oh no, it gets eaten! Micha's it gets eaten by Wands!
That's disaster!
Huge! And BTRG now all of a sudden flip the tables. Waya can get 1 kill, but I don't think they'll be able to get much else. But T1w, they are getting reinforcements back into this Mullen run, back into it. Able to help the Zenyatta get a bunch of shots down, then steals the kill on their own. Then Wands gets C-Mac. T1w, despite that Graviton loss, able to swing things back in their favor. The support line of T1w goes off and become the DPS and take them out for T1w.
Yeah, I mean, that's the classic Chinese Zarya right there. You throw the Graviton into Defense Matrix. I don't really need it. I still have super ultra mega charge. I'm so high charged, I can just use my tracking and my mechanical skill to just melt the rest of the team. Micha's able to do that even though he flunders a little bit on that Graviton placement. He looked like he had it for free, but that was some really nice heads-up play from the enemy D.Va as well to eat that. So great play from BTRG, just not enough, and T1w takes a convincing 2-0 lead.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to bring Panda in real quick here. Panda, T1w up 2-0. They looked much more convincing on Blizzard. What was the X factor there for T1w?
I think it just comes down to Hybe. You cannot stress enough just how composed one can be with 2 seconds worth of defense matrix. That just comes down to what makes T1w so good as a team. You see them playing the terrain very, very well, and managing that shield even better. Not taking too much pressure from all the crazy amounts of DPS that BTRG were running. It was just quite the oppressive composition if you think about it. Solo tank, Hamster, based around Sky Show's Sombra. You're going to have a Pharah in the air as well, and Wands on Widowmaker, finding some decent shots at that. I was always expecting Wands to be coming out in this matchup, playing a lot of Winston. Here he is showcasing a multitude of heroes, so got to tip my hat to you, sir. But, you know, at the end of the day, you can take a look at some of these highlights at what I'm about to describe. Hybe, just, again, always being there, setting up their team for success. You cannot, especially coming from T1w side, if you're seeing all those volleys and all those fire strikes being eaten, all those right clicks being eaten time and time again, that's just from Hybe. Hybe is, again, setting up his team for success. I cannot stress it enough.
Yeah, we also saw a bit of Micha there, some solid Graviton play, staying ahead of the game. You know, Kenobi, was it, you know, you would say that Zarya, who could get that Graviton first, definitely dictate a lot of the fights, right?
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about Micha is he's looked a lot better on Zarya. I touched on this a little bit at the start, is when he first started playing Zarya, he looked a little bit like more of a DPS player playing Zarya, but now he's slowly starting to transition towards being more of a Zarya player. His bubble cooldowns are a lot better. He's not playing for charge most of the time. And then his Gravitons, while we did have that little flub at the end, have looked much, much better than they did in the previous seasons and the previous times we've seen him. So Micha's Zarya play has definitely improved a lot since when we first saw him.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, we'll see. Can T1w continue this streak? They are up 2-0. BTRG still has an opportunity to potentially get the reverse sweep, but it's a lot of work ahead of them. Let's see if they can do it. Don't go anywhere. More Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019, Week 4, Day 2 will be coming your way after this halftime break.
But it's going to be a very big uphill climb for BTRG to try and get back into this one.
Yeah, exactly. It would definitely be a big mountain to climb, but we've seen those heights reached before. Will we see them? We'll see those peaks here today. We'll find out. T1w is going to be on the offense first. They are in the green. BTRG going to be on defense, and they take a pretty aggressive defensive positioning up here, holding towards the, I guess, the choke point area before falling back to the point. Normally, teams will just kind of hold the high ground as the round starts, but they give it to T1w this time. So T1w is going to take it, walks right up onto the welcome mat, and now they're going to jump right onto the point.
Yeah, it was a really interesting decision to just stay on the low ground there and try and take the 1v1, especially with the Sombird Goats instead. And now you're giving up a lot of pressure on the point. Sky Show is going to try and stall for a little bit, but he goes down. And now they've already taken 1 tick. Hybe is going to boop some people off the high ground and try, but Waya is going to go down first.
Even if T1w doesn't win this fight, in this minute alone, they've already taken 2 ticks of point A, and they could even win and get the second point here. Looks like BTRG is going to take it as the tank line of T1w gets knocked back once that Bree gets taken away. So BTRG will hold T1w off, but they've given off already 2/3 of point A just to T1w. T1w really didn't even earn it.
And this is actually, even though they did get those 2 ticks, this is actually a pretty scary position right now for T1w, because in this next fight, Skyshow is going to be able to hit this EMP, which is almost, if used correctly, a fight-winning by itself ability, and then you have a lot of ultimates coming online for them as well. You're going to have Wands' Graviton as well, the Shatter from Yang Yang, and the Transcendence available, whereas T1w doesn't really have much in their ultimate economy. Wyatt is really the closest one, along with Illusion, so that's really what you're needing to be banking on, is the support ultimates coming from T1w.
And T1w using a lot of time to get the second attempt raring to go. Already at the 2-minute mark, they're going to be pushing for a top right high ground position. Here's the EMP though from Skyshow. It hits 3 members, and then an Earthshatter from Yang Yang hits another 3. Moanron, Silver 3, and Micha go down. Moanron gets hacked afterward, and then the Graviton will come through. Now right click from Winquin finds Moanron. One's looking for more, trying to fall back at 90, now losing that charge as T1w is holding the high ground here. An Earthshatter comes down from Silver 3,
Yang Yang?
and T1w trying to follow up, but they only find Yang Yang. BTRG's kind of still somehow holding together at this point despite being separated individually. Graviton now from Micha trying to isolate Wands. The single player Graviton used to get rid of the Zarya, and that's all T1w needs to finish off the fight. At 1 minute and 23 seconds, they add 4 more minutes to the clock and boast themselves to 5 minutes and change for this point B.
And Yang Yang on that high ground, that trade was not worth it. He was managed to charge Wyatt, but then he goes down himself and you lose that Reinhardt. And then I really love the solo grab from Micha, understanding that the only damage that they're going to have is Wands here. He's on the high ground, he's for free, no diva with him, so we can hit this Graviton and win the fight from there since the main tank was already down. Great heads-up play from Micha on that Zarya.
BTRG has had some problems with staggering their support ultimates in previous maps in the series, and right now they only have support ultimates until Yang Yang get that Earthshatter, until Skyshow gets that EMP. But Arong throws down the Transcendence. Win-Win still waiting on the Sound Barrier. Yang Yang and he has the Earthshatter ready to go. Skyshow has that ready to go. Skyshow looking, and you can see T1w all flumped up in the back. That gives the opportunity for Skyshow to drop it on them with the Earthshatter as well. The big 1-2 punch from BTRG follows through, gets the kills, and T1w though, despite Micha and Illusion finding a couple, Micha gets a third. It's not going to be enough for BTRG to give up this point, and they also have the close defensive spawns. BTRG will repel T1w.
Really nice coordination coming out from Big Time Real Gaming with their ultimates. You saw there, the EMP comes out, and then immediately Yang Yang is there with the Shatter. He hits a big one, puts everyone to the mat, and they're able to win the snowball from there. Some nice exit frags coming out from Micha, and he was able to charge up his Graviton available to them. And Big Time Real Gaming, they only have Lucio's Sound Barrier to deal with it, whereas the one winner, they have all of their support ultimates available to them.
Oh, there's going to be a hack real quick on High B, so High B falls down. As T1w looking to rotate on BTRG. One's waiting with the Graviton ready to go. So T1w, once they step onto the point, there's the Graviton, locks them in. Earthshatter, actually BTRG gets locked in by Michia's Graviton there. And then the Earthshatter comes out from Silver 3 to clean up. And Yang Yang is victimized by that. So BTRG is unable to get their Graviton out in time. T1w trying to follow up, but Skyshow with a fat EMP hits 5 members of T1w. And then Wyatt, the only one not affected by it, doesn't have a Transcendence to go. They already used it. So T1w trying to weather the storm here. Graviton, we expected it earlier in the fight. Now it comes out from Wands, but it doesn't get the big impact they needed. T1w has High B shoulder check Yang Yang into the grave. Now T1w with a 6v4 situation, 6v3. BTRG has to start staggering out of the defensive spawns as quick as possible here because they're giving up point B and they're giving up fast. T1w has 2/3. They almost have 3. The Lucio Win-Win gets there just in time. Now the hack from Skyshow, but it's not enough. The tank line of T1w is just mauling BTRG the second they step up onto the point. Silver 3 with 4 kills, the Quadra. Absolutely relentless. Team 1W does not even give BTRG a time to breathe, and they will finish the map.
Yeah, Silver 3 goes really hard in that last fight, gets a lot of kills with that Reinhardt hammer. Not really much to deal with him, but, you know, I want to hear what Panda has to say about that last round.
The one thing that you have to keep in mind about T1w on Horizon Lunar Colony, this is the only assault map that they lost, and that was to 666 Legend. Of all teams, TSL was able to take this map off of BTR, or off of T1w rather, and BTRG are showcasing exactly why. T1w, they don't do exactly well when disruption is being played. You'll notice that BTRG are almost giving them space just to collapse on them time and time again. That's that adaptive play that I was talking about from Blizzard World defense from BTRG. Giving them the space, allowing SkyShow to find a hack almost for free while T1w are trying to go in on a target. And that's just going to be Wands just with a nice passive bubble, building up that charge and building up Graviton Surge passively. But on the other side, you're dealing with fire inside a bottle. T1w, again, recognizing every single time that they have an opening, whether it's a solo grab, whether it's going to be burst damage from high B, they are always hitting the gas pedal and they are always ready to follow up on any sort of target. Whether they get 5-man EMP'd or not, they are going to try to follow up on any sort of advantage that they have in the middle of the fight. So BTRG doing a good job of giving them up some space, but you have to be able to win these fights with just a single EMP. You should not have to invest in Earth Shatter on top of that as well. What that tells me is that it's a lack of target prioritization when everybody is EMP'd on T1w side, so BTRG just need to do a little better job of locking down these situations.
Well, thank you, Panda, for that insight. Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, they can't be using so many resources to be winning these fights. The EMP should be the fight winner, right? That shouldn't be something that you necessarily need to be comboing with. So let's see, can BTRG get more value out of less? Less is more, Kenobi.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah, I mean, BTRG is bringing out a composition that has seen some prevalence on this map before. It's the triple DPS, so we're going to be seeing Yang back on that Hamster. We're going to be seeing SkyShow back on the Sombra, and when SkyShow has been in the Sombra in this triple DPS, he's been very tentative with his EMPs. We saw it on Blizzard World specifically. It took him a long time to just use that EMP, and he didn't really get the value he needed. His Silver 3 gets extremely low. He's getting pummeled by a lot of this damage coming out from the big-time Real Gaming composition.
Oh, and I love T1w. This is the difference between a good and a great team. T1w, seeing that BTRG is just touching the point. They're trying to get T1w off the high ground, but T1w doesn't give it to them necessarily. They're waiting and waiting and waiting, just so BTRG thinks that they'll move off of it. And then T1w finally does make the rotation and takes away that potential first third of point A capture from BTRG. Now it's going to be Cloud trying to do some damage with the Mercy damage boost from the high ground, but T1w has so much cover that they're actually avoiding most of the missiles just by hiding behind walls rather than taking the damage and getting healed. Now T1w is going to move towards the perimeter of point A behind the shield. A nice nade from Eren, but there's no follow-up. High B and Silver 3 both got caught by it, but no kills. Now Ones has the eyes ready to go, their ult. Now Eren has the nano boost. SkyShow with the EMP. T1w actually behind in the ultimate charge game here, and now they've given up the first third of point A. But they've chewed off so much time here, Kenobi, from BTRG's clock.
It's been 2 minutes already. There's the hack, and the EMP comes out, the nano as well, and there's a barrage. There's nothing to stop it, Rapture, and Cloud is going to rain down justice completely onto the entirety of T1w.
I thought BTRG was going to even hesitate longer than that, but that's the EMP combination that they want to go for. The barrage often kind of putting the user in a position to get killed while they're channeling. Well, it's going to be a lot harder to kill that far when you're EMP'd. 4 members of T1w get EMP'd. 3 or 4, I believe, getting killed by the barrage. And BTRG now moving on to point B.
So this is actually a scary position right now for BTRG in the sense that they've switched their entire composition over to Somber Goats now. And T1w, they took so long in that last fight. They milked so much percentage off the clock. But you know what they also did, Rapture, is they got ultimates. Look at the ultimates for T1w here. You have 5 available to you. Big Time Real Gaming, a lot of them, not even 50% of their ultimates already. So, you know, Big Time Real Gaming have to make a lot of economy pushes here. Make some dry pushes. Force out some ultimates here. If they lose any vanilla fights, it's disastrous for them.
That's the thing, yeah, exactly. BTRG really just needs to push it as often as possible, force these ultimates out, because T1w, they have 5 minutes on the clock. So, I mean, they got to burn ultimates, but T1w has time to get more. BTRG needs to strike when the iron's hot, get rid of these ultimates and push in, and this is exactly what you're talking about, Kenobi. T1w winning a fight on BTRG and only burning they only used 1 resource to win that. They still are ahead by 5 ultimates. They actually didn't lose the lead because they started the fight with 5 ultimates. They ended the fight with 5 ultimates. So T1w, great resource management there, only using the Graviton from Micha and reducing BTRG now below 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
And again, it's scary because right now Big Time Real Gaming aren't farming up their ultimates because they're in such a deep hole. Micha hits a very nice grab at the start there, and now SkyShow is going to be able to hack the Diva. He has this EMP available. It goes out. It gets a lot of people, but Why is there with the Transcendence.
Yeah, Waya saw that coming, hot, hid in the back left corner, waited for the EMP to come out, and then look at that.
Oh, High-B!
Just putting the team on their back, the self-destruct coming in as BTRG was trying to run away. They ran right into the self-destruct. Moan run right clicks Yang, and BTRG, again, super low here in terms of momentum. They've pretty much been stripped of all of it, but now they're a little ahead here in ultimate charge.
Yeah, and High-B hits a really nice self-destruct from the three-point line there, perfectly placed into the back line of BTRG. He's able to get a couple of kills, and as you're right, though, the one winner did use a lot of ultimates in that last fight, whereas Big Time Real Gaming are going to be coming back with a few of their own. Wands is going to get this Graviton in the time, and Illusions is going to have this sound barrier. There isn't an EMP available to strip away the shielding, so they do have some sustain for T1w to try and deal with this.
BTRG, great play there. They hack Silver 3 so there's no shield, and then the Earth Shatter comes down from Yang as there's no shield to block it. Now the Graviton from BTRG. Wands trying to do damage, but they get so close because Micha Graviton them that they actually don't have room to get away. Illusion, that's the support line again of T1w picking up all these kills off the Graviton from Micha, and then Micha putting a bow on that gift there and delivering right to the front door of BTRG as again they are sent back and packing. Now lower than 3 minutes to go, and T1w is getting closer and closer to taking the lead in terms of time remaining.
And I know our analyst Panda has the biggest smile on his face when he sees those supports fragging there in that last fight. They did a really good job of getting those key picks that they needed to win that fight. And now BTRG are really going to have to make something happen with this EMP that they have available to them. It looks like he's going to try and solo EMP Waya because Waya does have this Transcendence. If he's able to sidestep this somehow, some way, that's going to be big. And it looks like SkyShow is actually going to make a different change and is going to go somewhere else.
No, we're going to go right into the middle of the fight. But it's... T1w, wow. Silver 3 just completely destroys BTRG in that frontline area. And again, SkyShow, despite knowing where Waya was, doesn't hit Waya with the EMP. So Waya again pops the Transcendence in time, keeps T1w up as Silver 3 just absolutely steamrolls BTRG.
Yeah, a little bit of miscoordination there coming out from BTRG. SkyShow hits the EMP much too late. They're already 2 dead on the side for T1w. They are able to snowball, and Silver 3 goes big with his hammer. And now SkyShow is switching over to the Zarya, but you only have 1 minute and 42 seconds left, Rapture. You're going to get maybe one Graviton, where T1w are going to have theirs available for this next fight. Arong needs to get towards this Transcendence quickly, but WinWinQ does have his sound barrier available if he doesn't get to it yet.
And now we're going to use that Lucio speed to get to this left side rotation right through the plant room. BTRG sitting on 4 ultimates to go. Here's T1w 3, now 2 ultimates behind as we move down below 1 minute and 20 seconds. Micha with the Graviton, but they're hit by an Earth Shatter by Yang. High-B with the self-destruct, but it's against the Transcendence, and they can't break through that. Cloud also had the rally down. WinWin also with the sound barrier, so there's so much to chew through for T1w. But BTRG burned everything to stay alive here. So even if they win this fight, T1w can just come right back and give it another go. But BTRG has half a point B already. They might have an opportunity. T1w has to get back here in time to just stop the point from being captured. High-B getting repelled back. Wands putting a lot of damage on the high ground as WinWin right-clicks High-B. 40 seconds remaining on the clock. SkyShow with the Graviton. The remainder of T1w trying to do some work here. Silver 3 with the Earth Shatter, but was only able to get rid of Yang, and Wands picking up the rest of the slack. BTRG should be able to capture point B, and they're not done just yet. T1w now getting a run for their money here as they can't get back onto the point. A self-destruct or Transcendence and a rally would await them even if T1w were able to make it. And that will be a completed map for BTRG just under 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that looked really good for BTRG in that last fight. You know, there was a really, really nice counter shatter coming out from Yang. They're able to mitigate a lot of the damage coming out that was going to be going into that Graviton. You had the shielding that was broken. Silver 3 wasn't able to put out a lot of damage into the grab with his hammer. No Fire Strike as well. And then you lose a lot of the shielding that Silver 3 was going to be able to have. So then there was that Zarya able to pump out a lot of damage with the right clicks and did a great job there. And Wands was sitting on that high ground, pumping out a lot of damage as well. So a really nice last played fight for BTRG. The ultimates finally came online. They had the advantages and they were able to use them to their advantage.
Absolutely. It really was BTRG Honestly, it seemed like they weren't able to get the most value off the EMPs, but it was in other departments that they were able to get the most off of, just following through on these gravitons, off these earth shatters, having transcendences ready in this, and working on their staggering of support ultimates as well, which looked a little shaky earlier in the series. Meanwhile, T1w, they're just sticking with regular goats, so they're working with that. The fact that they got to contest against EMP. They got to be good against that EMP every time. They got to have Waya ready with the Transcendence every time. They got to have Silver 3 landing these Earth Shatters every time. And BTRG was able to power through, but because they had such little time left on the clock, they're going to be on offense first with very little time to work with.
And this is certainly a composition that we've been seeing. We saw actually last season from T1w, we saw this composition, a sort of pseudo bunker composition where you have the Orisa on the high ground and you're just using Micha to pump out a lot of damage with that dynamite, farm up to that Bob. The interesting thing is you have Mola and Ren here on that Genji. Mola and Ren hasn't played Genji in a very, very long time, Rapture. It's usually been Micha, or it's been basically he's been playing, Mola and Ren has been playing Sombra or something like that. So I'm very excited to see Mola and Ren back on this hero.
Yeah, this is very shades of like previous Contenders China seasons here. Yeah, season two. You know, Monron going like Genji on Numbani was such a Contenders China season 2 look. And now we're seeing it mixed up a little bit with the Ashe from Micha. Ashe, who has had probably one of the worst track records for a hero in a region for a while. Yeah, especially on this map. You've seen many missed shots from Ashes on Horizon Lunar Colony, but Micha does get a kill and helping D-Mech and get some kills on High B, or on ones as High B steals the kill though. Overtime taken away, and T1w casually winning this one, Kenobi.
Yeah, it looks like actually at this point, BTRG is not going to be able to take this point. They're going to try their best to stall as much as they can, but there's just too much free damage. There is the Valkyrie from Illusion that was just really just enough for them to sustain on that point. And BTRG, they had one shot, they let it slip, unfortunately, and now T1w is going to be coming back into this fight with a lot more time available to them.
Yeah, that's quite the understatement there. BTRG really kind of stood no chance. They didn't seem to have like a set game plan. They went in, they lost members individually. They lost their diva early in that fight, and once you kind of lose that defense matrix and that bully power on the high ground, it's hard to stop a lot of that damage from coming through. And then T1w now, they have so much time to work with. They have very little work to do to get this first point. And then once they get this first point, they will have taken the series. So Kenobi, a lot on the line here for BTRG. They have to somehow pull this out of somewhere to make this defense happen.
Yeah, and Ashe, finally won a game on Horizon Lunar Colony. Last season, I remember specifically in Grand Finals, we saw Flag Gaming and T1w both play the Ashe on that map, and it didn't look good at each time. It was always, the first point was always taken by the team that wasn't playing the Ashe. So Ashe finally is able to full hold, even though it was just a minute. They are still going to get that one counted. So we finally got the Ashe victory and the Ashe full hold on A that both of these teams were looking for.
Yeah, right. I think that's actually the first time I've seen Ashe like win.
Win a point A,
or like do something good on Horizon Lunar Colony. It's really kind of been like a last-ditch effort kind of hero pick that hasn't worked out normally. But against BTRG, who are really already kind of bleeding out here, it was certainly a good way to continue to extend this lead. So now T1w, they see what BTRG is running, and they're going to completely change their composition. They're using a high mobility comp, plus they're going to have that bio grenade available from Waya to do a lot of the purple. Throw down an ability that can make it easy for T1w to melt through this static position in BTRG.
Yeah, and the thing about this composition from BTRG is the dive comes in already. They're just going in. They melt Sky Show. That's disastrous for the side of BTRG. You can't let your Bastion die there, but Cloud coming back with the Torbjorn turret, and Torbjorn just himself gets a couple of kills.
Yeah, the T1w, once they got that Bastion kill, the tank line got bounced back, and that was enough time for the turret and the Torb overall to deal damage, to D-Mech High B, to get rid of Silver 3, and once those big chunky dive tanks are out of the way, the rest of T1w is pretty squishy. So BTRG just has to continue to do that somehow, which is easier said than done, but they only have 2 minutes to do that. So T1w going to continue to work things through. Of course, that win condition slowly but surely building for T1w. Molanron gets that EMP, that could be it for BTRG.
And this composition from Big Time Real Gaming, Panda touched on a little bit. TSL, this is the composition they ran to beat them, and this is TSL's kind of basically best map. And this is really why, because this composition is so good and they play it so well, is that this crossfire between the Torbjorn and the Bastion, you dive onto the Bastion, but there's that Torbjorn turret on the other side just pumping out so much damage. And T1w really need to hurry up and get towards these ultimates. They need to get this Nano, they need to get this Dragon Blade and this EMP. It's their one shot, or else this is going to get tied. And even if it does get tied, it is still going to be T1w taking the map, but you want to get those wins on your record. Yeah,
there's just so much spam damage coming out here from BTRG. It's very hard for this very direct linear kind of dive approach right across from the other side of the map. A lot of times teams will go for a Hammond to try and pile drive and get rid of that Bastion. But the Sky Show Cloud combination is just too much, and there isn't enough actual disruption. Like, sure, T1w can jump on the other team, but Silver 3 just gets melted. D.Va just gets melted. So they don't have the actual crowd control they need to stun the Bastion, to get him in the air, to get rid of the turret quickly. And that means BTRG has more than enough time, more than enough damage to melt the tanks of T1w and then get rid of everybody else.
But Molar finally does have this EMP available. Waya is going to have the Nano, and Micha's going to have the Dragon Blade. So this is the last shot here for T1w to get anything done. Micha really needs to get this Dragon Blade quickly. 28 seconds left. This is the last chance that they're going to have, and they're going to have this EMP Nano Blade combo happen, and it's going to have to work really well.
Yeah, Micha doesn't have the Dragon Blade just yet, so the Nano Boost goes down, but the Self-Destruct is ready to counter them. No one gets it from T1w on that side, but High-B gets DMAC. Molar with the EMP, but it only hits Wand. That's huge. Yeah, while Silver 3 and Micha get anti-nated, but Molar and Illusion doing some damage. Micha makes most of the Dragon Blade, but it's the supports, again, coming out strong for T1w, and they were still enough able to steal away just that 1/3 necessary at point A. And just like that, T1w, after being shot down time and time again on the defensive attempt for 3.5 minutes, they make it happen at the very, very last moments of that fight.
Yeah, T1w looks very composed on that last map, waiting for their win condition, understanding it very well, as we're going to bring Panda back in here to kind of discuss what happened in that last couple of fights.
Yeah, and you keep on saying it, both of you, in fact. And yes, I did have a cheese-eating grin from ear to ear. I love good support play. You're not wrong. I mean, this team is doing a fantastic job of just putting every single resource into Micha. You'll even notice like the EMP towards the end, whether or not it found 2, it was still set up to set up the blade. All of the resources, whether or not Silver 3 gets eliminated or not, they're always going towards Micha. That high charge Zarya finding Graviton Surge eliminations or not, even when Eden, it doesn't matter. They're still finding a lot of frontline pressure. All they need is one. All Micha needs is just one support. It's typically Illusion with the speed boost, just speeding them into any sort of tank in their face and just finding a lot of pressure. I mean, lapping wands twice on BTRG's attack for Graviton Surge Charge and then forcing them to go Zen 3-3, that was that was something special to watch there. You can take a look at some of these highlights here for you folks. But what you're recognizing overall is just the adaptation coming through from T1w. They recognize where they're having misfortunes, and they're able to take it upon themselves mid-fight to take the course and kind of play BTRG like a fool, because BTRG are kind of playing this style of wanting to bait T1w into making the first engage, but T1w are just disengaging even further. They're feinting these engagements here, guys, and then they're forcing BTRG to make a counter engagement in their own minds and then getting punished for it in the running. It's a very interesting high-level component of Overwatch that T1w is showing that we haven't seen from them since Season 3 of last. I mean, in the opening weeks of this current season, I had my suspicion that this team wouldn't be able to do it again, but hey, here we are.
Yep, here we are. And T1w, I mean, they already have their playoff dream set, but now they take this series, they're guaranteed it as they're 4-0 in the group so far, tied with Billy in terms of that record, but Billy still with a slight map differential lead. T1w, though, they have an opportunity to grab one more map against BTRG. BTRG, they have an opportunity to screw with T1w's map differential, potentially play with the seeding in the playoffs a little bit, but otherwise, BTRG, the rug's kind of already been pulled out from under them. Let's see if they can get that one more map, or will T1w finish things off 4-0? We'll find out on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
Basically, their playoff spots are in their hands right now. If they beat LGD, they might be able to get towards that playoff spot, but also they have to rely on Alter Ego, maybe taking a map off of TSL and stuff like that.
So what you're saying to me is BTRG has to win a potentially unlikely matchup against a good team, and TSL has to lose to a team who has never won before. For BT.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. That's basically what I'm saying. Also, I'm saying that Silver 3 is on Doomfist right now, and that is something that we have not seen before. We've seen Silver 3. He's played the Genji before, so he does have that projectile play in him. But this is usually something we see. We see from Micha instead. But Micha has been subbed out for Assassin. Assassin is basically the hit scan player for T1w, and Silver 3. Let's see if he's learned anything from Micha.
Well, alrighty, T1w has been slowed down considerably here. They've already lost a minute on the clock. They're taking a long time to push past server room, that is, and make it around this corner. But sometimes the things that are worth getting don't always come easy. T1w will take that first checkpoint here after just only a minute. So Skyshow and Eren will get on the clock, or on the board, that is, but T1w with this Widowmaker Assassin is still able to plug away on shots from the high ground. Meanwhile, they have the Hammond to disrupt. They have the Mercy to res. So T1w losing only for a few moments in that fight, but they take those losing moments to convert it into a first checkpoint capture, and then they get the kills and salvage the fight.
Yes, some things don't come easy, but that first point came pretty easy there for T1w. Really only had to have one fight, but they were pushing the cart the entire time, and they have a lot of ultimates in this next fight available to them. We are going to have the Nano. All 6 ultimates available. They have the infrared sight from Assassin as well, so they know where Big Time Real Gaming is going to be at all times here. And Eren is back on the Sombra, one of his pocket picks. He was regarded as one of the best Sombras in the region before. We had people like EvilX and like Haker.
Oh my god, a 5-player EMP from Eren. Yeah, you're definitely calling it right there. Eren with a huge EMP, but Cloud with the rally, and I believe Arong also got a Transcendence off there. So BTRG doesn't lose any members off of such a considerably large EMP land from Eren. So now T1w scrambling to get some kills here. Silver 3 trying to make mincemeat of this Winston, and does. Yang goes down. That's a cue for Silver 3 to go in. Now they're sucked up, though, by a potentially lethal Graviton, and indeed it is. Skyshow picks up 2, Cloud also with another one. 3 minutes and 6 seconds or so on the clock. BTRG will stop T1w.
Yeah, see, Micha wouldn't have missed that rocket punch, Rapture.
Okay. See,
Micha would have hit that. Micha would have hit that rocket
punch.
Micha would have hit that rocket punch. She's got to go back to the training room and the hyperbolic time chamber.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I saw Micha stopped by a tree on Hollywood once, right? I think that was him.
That was the projectile, not the
and trees don't. That's true, but the trees don't move. So like, he should be hitting things that don't move and potentially missing things that do. But he doesn't miss. Silver 3 doesn't miss that kill onto Wands. Assassin picks up the kill. Assassin. There's the EMP. It picks up 3 members. Eren landing that one on the EMP. 3 members of BTRG getting caught in it. And then Eren finds 2 kills. Silver 3 with the uppercut. And then more. High B steals 2 of those kills. And T1w, yeah, this is actually going even faster than the previous checkpoint.
And I mean, really, again, it's really nice to see Eren back on one of his signature picks. He's a legacy Sombra player. He played it back in Season 2, Rapture. He was one of the best that we regarded in the region. But then you had people like EvilX. You had people like Haker who were coming in. And last season, Eren spent most of his time on Brigitte. So now he's back on the Sombra. And as you can see, he's already 65% towards another ultimate. He just EMP'd in that last fight. So he's doing a great job of farming these EMPs quickly.
Yep, and Eren actually went down a little low there. Does get back out of dodge and now has only about 18%, 19%, 18, and now less to go on this EMP. Meanwhile, Wan's trying to suss out this Widowmaker, goes pretty deep, falling back, but they know they have the self-destruct to use. But Silver 3 taking out their tank counterpart, gets rid of the Winston, their ally that is. And then Eren finds Cloud, 64 situation here for T1w, and Assassin's moving up forward, while the Doomfist is going to try and crush this Ashe before they get to spawn, but can't get him just in time. Eren, though, picks up the Slack, finds 2. Waya with the big biotic grenade there, and Wanz gets caught out. Now T1w with 3 minutes and about 15 seconds left on the clock. BTRG is going to try and recontest that payload, getting closer and closer, uncomfortably close to the end of this map. Eren finds Assassin. Silver 3 used Nano Boost, and actually getting very little value. Trying not to die while using the Nano Boost, but as a result, can't get much off of it. Self-destruct from BTRG, that's going to come out, and Wands doesn't find much, doesn't actually get much damage done, but it does zone T1w away from the payload. That being said, Silver 3 and Monon, yeah, still getting kills here. This is not done. Silver 3 trying to keep things going. Oh no, going a little too far and then gets bumped off by the Diva, but Eren steals the kill nonetheless. T1w within 4 meters to go cannot finish the map.
And BTRG has switched over to some more DPS players themselves. They're putting Cloud here on the Genji. Sky so he switched over to the Sombra. Has that EMP available. So this next fight is going to be a battle of EMP. Which EMP is going to get the most value and which one's going to get off first?
No, and Sky Show lets that EMP go. Only 2 get caught in it, but you're right. It might come down to who gets it first. It does T1w losing their Sombra and their Mercy, so they can't have an EMP come out.
Sky Show! Sky Show's off! Oh
no! Sky Show, no. And now continuing to move forward is that Doomfist. The Minefield also helping them out. T1w slowly but surely whittling away at BTRG as they come trickling out of spawn. But no, that Transcendence going to allow the reinforcement for BTRG to trickle in a little stronger here. They're actually not there. There's no one there with the Transcendence to join him. Now it's going to be just the Hammond pushing in. They go down. Silver 3 finds Win-Win. Cloud going down as well, and T1w will finish the map there with just some time on the clock, but not too much there. And it looks like we are going to jump to a quick break here just to sort out some technical issues, but we will be back before the next attempt, so don't worry, more Overwatch Contenders China coming your way. Hey, welcome back everybody. Apologies for that delay, but you haven't missed anything. Just as we're breaking out, we just got started on this attempt, and you were right here to have front row seats to a Bastion and Reinhardt getting put through the smelter right there. And T1w just completely trounced BTRG, and that payload is going to come to a grinding halt, my man Kenobi.
Yeah, BTRG decides that they want to start with the pirate ship composition, but those sails aren't really unfurled very well at the start of that match, and BTRG loses a lot of time. They lose a minute, basically, to not push the payload at all, and they're going to make some hard swaps back over to a more GOATS composition here, but T1w has the advantage with a lot of their ultimates now. Eren is going to have this rally much sooner than Cloud is. Silver 3 is going to have that Earth Shatter available to them, and there's no static shield available for Big Time Real Gaming, so if he finds a free Shatter, it's going to hit big.
Oh, and T1w, great strike there. Once that Yang Winston bubble went down, Sky Show had used their individual solo bubble on themselves, and then T1w just immediately put the pressure on once those bubbles were away. BTRG gets destroyed and stomped out yet again, and you're right, T1w not only winning these fights, but they are in the ultimate control right here. Now Yang moving over to the Reinhardt, so they're further behind. T1w looking good.
Yeah, T1w looking very good. They're going to have a 6-pack of ultimates going into this next fight available to them, and Big Time Real Gaming have nothing. Eren is going to be the only one that's going to have to try and farm to this Transcendence to try and negate some of the damage that's going to be coming out from T1w.
Well, T1w falling down. Earth Shatter lands on 4. Silver 3 taking out 2/3 of BTRG with a single key. And that's another full wipe there. BTRG loses half of their time, and they haven't even barely gotten it around the first corner of the map. That is absolutely devastating for this BTRG squad.
And this is just T1w smacking Big Time Real Gaming with their wallets right now. Shoutouts to Atlas. I mean, they're just doing so well with their ultimate economy. They have such an advantage. They just are waiting for that one moment where they can go in. Silver 3 only uses his Earth Shatter, and they use the Rally as well. They keep a lot of their other ultimates, and Q that isn't close to his sound barrier, so really, again, it's just Eren who's going to be able to do anything, but he goes down sniped by Hy-B.
Literally, as you say, Eren's the one who could do anything. Hy-B boosts right into that Zenyatta and takes him out. Now, look at that. T1w, Yang is the only one that's able to get a kill, but has to sacrifice themselves to do so. Landed a pin and took themselves off the map. T1w with another fight win, but look at that. They are still tied with BTRG. Now they've only one ultimate down, but T1w is still in a great position to win another fight.
And I think that's the first death the T1w player has had on this offense or on this defense for them, so that's really good. And BTRG is coming in. They have the ultimate advantage now. Self-destruct comes out. Not sure about that one.
Well, I tried to set it to 2 from T1w's Waya to try and keep them alive. Earth Shatter comes down. That completely whiffed. Oh no, Yang didn't hit a single target with that Earth Shatter. That's such a huge loss for BTRG. T1w is just laughing all the way to the bank. That Earth Shatter goes down for no reason at all, no need. And now look at that. Both teams down an ultimate. Monron the only one with one. Winwin's about to get sound barrier, but that's it, Kenobi. 24, 23, 22 seconds on the clock, and T1w will have won this map.
Yeah, you're going to have to really look out for SkyShow here. SkyShow has to get this Graviton Surge before this next fight because there is no defensive ultimate available for T1w. They just have the rally to sustain through. So if SkyShow is able to get this ultimate and hit a big Graviton, they're going to have a lot of damage to do.
Well, really what Yang Yang wants to get is this Earth Shatter as soon as possible. SkyShow can end that grab, but that can be eaten. Now SkyShow has the Graviton. Wyatt on Cloud finds that kill. Graviton comes down. It does get T1w caught up, but Assassin D-Mex ones in the meantime. T1w overtime ticket away, and T1w still has control of the payload as Assassin and Silver 3 combined for multiple kills. Wyatt putting kills down and forcing out the Transcendence from Eren while Illusion steals the kill. Self-destruct to wrap things up, and there it is. T1w holds BTRG off before the first checkpoint of Gibraltar to convert into a map win, a series win. It is a 4-0 scoreline for T1w as they take this series over BTRG. We're going to bring in Panda one more time to break things down. Panda, that was really the T1w show all throughout the second half of that series. On Gibraltar, what was it about T1w that just made it so difficult for BTRG to, I guess, compete against?
T1w show? I thought that was the Silver 3 show, homie. I don't know. Yo, I mean, like, you go back and you look at how much Silver 3 did by themselves. Clear-cut rotations, finding in value, pushing past the shield, noticing all of these advantages. It has to be from Silver 3. All of these different engagements are all off of the either the fist on the attack or the hammer on defense. Silver 3 is just quite literally a rock for this entire team, and has been since season 2 of Contenders of 2018, and showcasing on that as well. I remember all the way back on Gibraltar, it was the same exact thing that I'm going to say, the same thing that I said that I'm going to say right now. I'm sorry, Silver 3. I did not mean to sleep on you. He's a fantastic main tank, and showcasing that and taking space by storm, finding value in Earth Shatters time and time again. And you can notice that just from two individuals on BTRG, LemonKiwi and Cloud, the Brigitte and the Lucio, very slow ultimate charge as far as rally and sound barrier are concerned. Normally a very quick charge at that for Inspire uptime to be consistently being charged, especially when you're in the neutral Zen 3-3 versus Zen 3-3. Taking a look at some of these highlights, you might be able to see some of that ult control get a little bit awry. T1w just doing a fantastic job, whether they're on a solo tank composition or their own Reinhardt Zen 3-3, just completely disrupting BTRG and running amok in their backline.
And Kenobi, would you agree? Was it the Silver 3 show, or is there someone else that stuck out to you?
I would definitely say on that last map specifically, it was the Silver 3 show. But I think throughout the series, if I had to give, an MVP to someone, it's definitely Hy-B. Hy-B shows up and is so just a consistent player. Sometimes off-tanks in China aren't the flashiest players. Last season we had Hy-B, who is regarded as the best off-tank in the region, and, or not Hy-B, MG rather, was the best off-tank in the region, and Hy-B kind of took a backseat to him. But now in this season, MG's not playing as good as he used to last season, and Hy-B has really cemented himself as one of the best off-tanks in the region, and definitely someone who, academy worthy, Overwatch League worthy. I think if he continues to play this way, he's so consistent, so reliable as well, and he gets those nice picks and those nice frags. So I think if there's someone who I would give it to, it would have to be Hy-B.
Well, the best divas don't show up in the kill feed, right, Kenobi? And that's exactly what Hy-B was able to do time and time again. I mean, they did get that two-piece self-destruct that turned around in the middle of a team fight on Horizon Lunar Colony, on top of eating a Graviton Surge, I believe it was on Assault. I'm sorry, on Control. But, all of the space that was being created from Silver 3 on that previous map, again, was from Hy-B solo tank, whether that was Hamster or on that Diva play. Defense Matrix is so crucial, especially when you have it up for 2 seconds, eating what needs to be eaten, so that way your tanks don't need to take that much damage, and you always have that burst heal of the armor pack available. I would definitely agree. If there was a MVP of the entire match, I would definitely give it to Hy-B as well, but always setting up Silver 3 for that crazy show that we just saw in Gibraltar.
Well, that crazy show is over. Now, coming into this series, T1w is already confirmed for playoffs. They're still confirmed for playoffs with that 4-0 record in the group. It's not over for BTRG just yet, but they have to beat LGD next week, and somehow TSL has to lose to Alter Ego. So this is still a lot on the line. BTRG is not out of it just yet. Don't go anywhere, folks. There are still 2 more series on the way. The next matchup here coming your way, it will be Geo and IHOLDSHIFT after a break, bringing you the commentary. But we have a hype matchup between Flag Gaming and Lucky Future. 2 teams in Group B still vying for playoff contention. You're definitely not going to want to miss that one. So don't go anywhere. After this break, more Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019 Week 4 Day 2 will be coming your way.